All right, so this is the trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. Hold all the comments until the end. All right, so have any thoughts, Mike, on this game? Well, before you go, this just the announcement of the trailer alone, because this leaked before the Game Awards started. Rockstar had released the trailer early. Tweet, I believe on X, has become the most liked tweet for a video game of all time. I think it was like 1.8 or 1.9 million likes or some shit. And I think it's one of the most watched trailers ever for not just for a video game, but for anything. So what do you think about this?
Like other people, honestly, I didn't even tune in into the trailer on Tuesday since I was a little busy. So I heard it was released and everything a little early, but I didn't even really tune in. But from watching the trailer, man, I'm not gonna lie, it looks really good to me. I mean, Vice City, I mean, it looks amazing. Like Miami itself, I mean, man, just look at that. I mean, that looks like the nightlife you just see when you watch all the videos. The city looks alive. All the buildings I saw, I think it was a few seconds back. Which, oh yeah, like this shot right there. From all the videos I've seen, like that nails, Miami just perfectly. I think I even saw the Everglades too. But Rockstar, they're always fantastic when it comes to creating their environments. Even like the NPCs, it definitely reminds me of people in Florida. Um, I forgot the one guy. He looks like a famous rapper, but the way they dress and their hairstyles is actually really similar to how it is right now. So I actually admire that attention to detail right there.
Yeah.
I'm more interested to see how the story plays out. So it looks like we're gonna have kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde thing going. It seems with
Yeah.
this girl Lucille.
Yeah.
They didn't. Yeah.
So the one of the leaks that came out over a year ago pointed to a dual protagonist story with where it's like the inspiration it appeared was from Bonnie and Clyde, and of course for those who don't know, Bonnie and Clyde was a real life couple who went around and robbed banks. They were real criminals who were active during the 1920s era here in the United States, and they were shot and killed by the police. There's been a movie made about them a few decades ago, and so it looks like they're going for something similar here with a male and female. Now the big thing that a lot of people are talking about is this female character, Lucia, she's not the first Grand Theft Auto female character, but she's the first major female protagonist, or I guess anti-hero, um, since this is the Grand Theft Auto series. And it looks like her story, just judging from this trailer, she's someone who, was in prison for whatever reason, got out, and, has returned to a life of crime. So they didn't really reveal much about the story here, but that's just the general gist um, of what's been shown off thus far. But yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did they even say the other guy's name?
They didn't.
Oh, that's strange. Maybe they'll have another trailer where they talk about him then.
Yeah, he's barely in the trailer. So yeah, I'm wondering what's going on with him. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this story. I will say that this does fall in line with the rest of the series where you're playing as criminals. Um, I remember reading a review for Grand Theft Auto 5 when it first came out, all those years ago. It was on Amazon, and someone had left I think it was a 1 star or 2 star review. It was a negative review for the game, and one of the things that they were saying is that, because they made a good point. Each game in the series, it follows a very similar pattern. You're playing as a low-life criminal who's trying to make their way in American society and try and get rich, you know, means of breaking the law and what have you. Someone who's down on their luck, who becomes rich and makes it big, and that's a general flow of the games and whatnot, um, from game to game regarding the storytelling. And I have to agree. Now, their idea was like, what if we had a Grand Theft Auto game where you play as a law enforcement officer, try and flip the script, and you actually play as like someone who's trying to stop the criminals. Like that would be very different. Like what do you think about that?
It would be different, but honestly, I have to say, I probably wouldn't be into that. Just because like that whole storyline with Grand Theft Auto has just been like the staple of their entire games, and I think that's kind of the big reason why most people want to play it. They actually prefer that lifestyle, starting as a low life criminal and working their way up. It just, I guess, for a lot of people, it just never gets old. It's kind of like that. I don't know, like that Scarface or type of gangster vibe that everyone loves about it. I don't know. I think it would turn a lot of people off if they did do it that way.
I guess. I would like to see like what if we had a Grand Theft Auto game. Now that was that person's idea. Here's my idea. What if we had a Grand Theft Auto game where you still get the criminal vibe and whatnot, but instead of starting out as a criminal, you actually start out as someone good who's like corrupted and then turns, to crime. Um,
That could be interesting.
yeah, like a former military service member or whatever. Things like this person's forced to do overseas or whatever, it like changes them, and it sours their attitude and disorients their world view on the country. So when they come back, like they're discharged and they're broke, don't have any money, and they uh, they turn to a life of crime. You know, I think that would make for a fantastic Grand Theft Auto game. That would be very different from the usual characters that we get. That's just something like that. I think it would be more creative than what they've come up with here. This it looks interesting, but it literally is just like, okay, so we're creating video game versions of two criminals that actually existed. Uh, I don't know. It's a little bit too on the nose.
I get what you're saying. Honestly, for me, it's not a problem. I've enjoyed all the games all the way through, but I can definitely see people who get sick of it.
Yeah. As far as the city goes, I've seen comments online that some people are starting to get sick of Rockstar shuffling through the same cities over and over again. So this is the second time we're getting Vice City, and we already got a game based on Vice City, and I know there's a huge generational gap between Grand Theft Auto Vice City and this game. Huge difference. Vice City's a PS2 game. This is a PS5 ninth generation game. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me because there is such a huge gap, but I can understand some people being a little bit tired of like repeating some of the same cities, because with Grand Theft Auto Or we got a Liberty City was based on New York. Theft Auto 5 was based on Hollywood, Los Angeles. It's called Los Santos. Is that what
Yeah,
it?
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then Vice City's based on Miami, Florida. There's only two other major cities that I can think of that they could do, like a fictional version of, which would be Chicago, Illinois, and San Francisco. I know we have other cities and whatnot. We got in the U.S. we got Boston, Massachusetts. We got what's the one city in Texas, Houston, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we got a few others, but I don't know. They can only shuffle so many of these around before they're gonna have to start hitting some of those other areas. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised they went with Vice City again. I think my favorite thing they did in San Andreas is how they had multiple cities you could just visit. I was hoping that'd be the case with six, but sadly it's not. I've heard a rumor saying like I think it was about maybe a year or so ago.
Uh-huh.
Probably it might be fake, but it was a rumor saying like during online updates they would possibly have different cities like span throughout the years, but I don't know how true that is or if it even is true. But it would be a cool idea, but
I think
you
I
never know.
I think that would be a little bit too ambitious. Creating one open
Yeah,
world is that takes years to do, let alone,
yeah,
you know, I think the only company that would be able to get away with something like that would be Ubisoft because they have the manpower to create something like that. Rockstar is a big company, but I don't think, you know, all the detail they put in their open worlds too, it would just be too much, I think.
right.
So, but yeah, culturally, that's another thing about this trailer. There's a lot of minorities here, a lot of black and brown, people in this trailer. So there's a cultural like multi racial diversity in this, which is interesting. And it looks very real. Even if you look at some of the finer details, like with this TikTok type thing that they're doing, like even the dialogue here looks very very modern.
Yep.
So Rockstar, they pay attention to culture and whatnot and what's actually happening in the real world. It's a big part of what makes their games interesting. For people who aren't Grand Theft Auto fans, they look at something like this and they may wonder like, why is it so popular? The reason Grand Theft Auto is, popular as it is because it's a parody on American life. It's a parody on the American experience, the American dream, thing that people are familiar with, which is that's the main reason that these games have become as popular as they have is because people can relate to them. That's something that's very hard to do. You can only relate so much to something that is fictional. But even though Grand Theft Auto is fictional, a lot of what's in the games is based on what happens in the real world. So that's why it's taken off, and has become this event. Another thing is Rockstar. They very wisely haven't spammed sequels like a lot of other franchises. This is coming more than 10 years after Grand Theft Auto 5. There's a huge gap between the last game and this one, and so it feels more like an event when a new one comes out. It's like the way Grand Theft Auto is now. It's like how Star Wars used to be. How like there was a huge gap between the movies and whatnot. But as soon as Disney started spamming the movies, people started liking them less and less. In part because not just because of the quality, but also because we're getting too much of it. We're being force fed content. Whereas with Grand Theft Auto, they're spacing the games out far enough to where it literally becomes, like I said, an event when a new one's announced. So that's very wise the way they're handling the franchise from a business perspective.
Yeah, it is. But honestly, my main hope for this is that they that after a while, I know they're gonna push the online mode, but I hope that they don't neglect the single player content like how they did with GTA 5. 'Cause I think when GTA 4 came out, they had the Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost and Damned DLC. I actually really enjoyed those. I'm hoping they can put some more single player content out after the future, because I know the GTA Online role playing is huge going on right now. Like everyone's loving that.
Well,
That's what's had it come lasting so long.
yeah, I agree to a certain extent because I also had the same issue with Grand Theft Auto 5. Like after I beat the story and completed all the missions, there was like nothing to do with the single player. The thing I'll say against that is that the industry was very different when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out compared to what it is now. Almost every single game has DLC now, and there's no game that's released complete anymore. It's just
Yeah.
it's not something that really exists in the video game industry anymore. Everything is piecemealed and is fed to you in parts, almost to a point where it feels like you're playing a beta when these games come
Yeah.
out. So if they don't release any DLC, I'd be fine with it as long as if they're giving us a complete package. Because with Red Dead Redemption 2, I wasn't there was enough content there to where it's like as soon as I was done with the story, I felt like I was satisfied. I didn't feel like I needed DLC. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I get you.
they didn't release any DLC for Red Dead Redemption 2. That was a complete story, from start to finish. You didn't really need anything extra as far as supplemental content goes. So I hope they go a similar direction with 6. I think the bigger problem is what they would do with the Grand Theft Auto Online. You know, are they going to return with Grand Theft Auto Online? It's likely, but could they do it look more like Grand Theft Auto 4 and GTA Online will be just like they'll just call it Grand Theft Auto 6 Online, try and separate it from GTA Online, or will they try and explain GTA Online from 5 and just, you know, do like another version of it for 6? I'm very curious to know what they're gonna do with that as far as that goes. But yeah, overall, I think it's a good teaser trailer. Do you think they announced this a bit too early?
Yeah, I was hearing rumors that it would come out in 2024 instead of 2025 instead. And I saw a lot of people were disappointed because my friend texted me um, saying that it was at the end of the trailer. You told me it was coming out in 2025 and not 2024 because there was apparently some uh, big leak or whatever that was hinting towards 2024, at least from what I was hearing. So yeah, I feel that way.
Yeah. Well, it's not coming next year. It's coming to, year after in 2025. I'd imagine this is going to be a quarter 1 game in 2025. So have plenty of time. They got a year to market it and polish what's there. I'd imagine the game is already playable from start to finish. So they just have to, again, polish it up, ready for release. Yeah, that's Grand Theft Auto 6. Rockstar, when it comes to storytelling and whatnot, they always deliver with that. Gameplay wise, they do need to update their gameplay, I think, because
I was hearing that. I've heard this one YouTuber saying their style is a little out of date. I can't remember his name.
well, one YouTuber, Nakey Jakey, he criticized Red Dead Redemption 2 for that, their gameplay style being outdated. I definitely don't want to play another game where I have to tap the face button to run. Um,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be a thing in any modern video game. So, small things like that need to be updated. And I think the aiming system definitely needs to be updated too. Like that small dot reticule that they had going in Grand Theft Auto 5, I wasn't big on that. It was like a little small dot on screen that you can barely see. So yeah, there's plenty that they can work on.
I
Uh,
wonder if they're still doing the because I think they did an update for 5 that had first person in it. I wonder if they're still gonna do that.
they did do that for 5. I'd imagine if they did it for 5, they'll do it for 6. Another interesting thing is they didn't announce this for PC.
Oh yeah, not surprised there. I'll probably do it later.
Yeah, they'll release it first on console and then on PC later at some point, which is very unconventional for a modern game, but I guess it's not unheard of. So, but yeah, there you go. There's Grand Theft Auto 6.